Hello and welcome to my guide on how to developing youngsters in Football Manager 2016. This guide will focus on a few different things. It will focus on which youngsters to develop, who will be a good tutor, what about facilities and coaches, loaning out players, and bringing them into the first squad. And this guide, I must say, is built on experience. When it comes to developing youngsters, the creators of the game, they have never clearly said anything to us like, do this and that will work. So everything in this guide is built on my own experience from playing this game for and the earliest versions for like almost 20 years, and also a lot of experience from other players who's been kind enough to share their experience on websites, YouTube videos, streams, and so on. So this is built on experience, and when I say things, I say them based on like this has happened to me, not the game creators has told us this is how it is. So some things might be wrong or only kind of right, but this works out well. And also, if you've been playing this game for a long time, I would probably not say anything new to you. So this game is for beginning players, football managers who's just like started out trying to developing youngsters. But first off is a logical choice. It's just like a look like, is my club good enough to developing youngsters? And when I say good enough, I'm talking mainly about two things. I'm talking about the facilities and I'm talking about the coaches. And currently I'm Liverpool. I just started a new game, so I haven't played anything. This is just for an example. But as you can see, training facilities is superb. And we also have great youth facilities. In my mind, if you have shitty training facilities, shitty youth facilities, it's usually, I mean, you can get very lucky, but it's usually a waste of time trying to developing youngsters. Because it will be very hard for your youngsters to reach their full potential if they're not training in good facilities. Might not have to be as good as this one, but it shouldn't definitely like not be poor facilities. And that's the main, like one of the main reasons I usually don't develop in youngsters when I do low league saves. I usually just start developing youngsters when I reach the higher leagues like Championship and Premiership or whatever league I'm playing in. Because as long as I'm in the really low leagues, I know my facilities will be very bad. And the second thing I know is that my coaches will be very bad. And now I just started the game, so obviously in a season or two, if I keep on playing this, I will improve my coaches even more. But as you can understand is that if you're playing in a low league club, your coach is probably going to be garbage and you probably just have a very few coaches. So that's another reason that makes it hard to developing youngsters when you play in the lower leagues. So your first option should be to think like, is my club in a position where we actually can developing youngsters? Do we have the facilities? Do we have the coaches? If the answer is no, don't give up though, because those things can change. I mean, you can ask your board to improve your training facilities, your youth facilities. You can use your money to try to sign better coaches. And in a season two, maybe your club has turned out to become like a really good place to developing youngsters. And also, I mean, you can always get lucky and manage to have great success with a youngster, even though your facilities or coaches is not the best in the world. Second thing we're going to take a look at is what players do we want to develop? And this is my U21 team, and as you can see, I've had a lot of loaned out players. It's not me who have loaned them out, but when you start a new Liverpool save, you start with all of those players loaned out. So I'm just going to hide them. We're going to hide players that's away on loan. And if you're in the regular general info, this is probably what you see. So the first thing you need to decide is like, what youngsters do you want to try to develop? And if you just go here and select reports, you will get what your coaches thinks. And that's the current ability and that's the potential. And right now, as you can see, I've sorted it on potential. And kind of obviously, you don't want to focusing on the guys at the bottom here. They will never become a good player. At least not in this game. Maybe in real life, because this game could be wrong. But it would be just a waste for me to like wasting valuable resources on those players. The interesting ones is the one with high potential. And whenever I signed a new young player, the first thing I always try to do to give them a good start on developing and give them a good start on reaching their full potential is to tutor them. And tutoring means that you take a older player and you use that older player as a tutor for the youngster. And tutoring can change 3 different things. First off, of all the stats the player have, it changes determination. So you always, or at least as much as possible, you want to have a tutor with higher determination than your youngster. And because if you have a youngster with like 10 determination as Sinclair right now, and he got tutored by a tutor with, let's say, 16 determination, then there's a great chance, if that tutoring is a success, tutoring can fail, but most of the times they are successes, then maybe after the tutoring period, Sinclair might have 16 in determination, or at least like 14, 15, but it's not uncommon that he will have 16 after the tutoring period. And obviously these skills you see in front of you here, you want them as high as possible, and if determination is the only skill you can change from tutoring, you definitely want to sure to get the most out of it. Sometimes you have a youngster with really low determination, like 5 or 4 or something like that, so you might tutor him 2-3 times to get determination up. Like you first, because you might use a tutor to get his determination up to 9, and then you tutor him again and get him up to 15, and then you tutor him again and get it up to 18 or something like that. So you want a tutor with higher determination. Secondly, you want a tutor with a good personality. Right now, as you can see, Mr. Sinclair here is a fairly ambitious one, and there's a lot of different personality in game. And the game's creator has never told us exactly like what do the personalities mean, how do they work out. But in my mind, it's very clear that a player with a shitty personality will have a lot less chance on reaching his full potential than a player with a great personality. Like just think that you have a player with a really poor personality compared to a player that's as a professional, like their personality is a professional. And in my mind, if your player is a professional, he will have work a lot harder on trainings, doing a lot of things more seriously, and basically have a greater chance on developing to become the world-class footballer that he has the potential to be. So you want a tutor with a great personality. The last thing tutoring can change is players' preferred moves. And if you take a look here on the training, we can see that Sinclair, he doesn't have any preferred moves. But let's check out my first team instead. Go for the senior squad. Here we have Lucas Leiva on top. And go training. You can see he has a few preferred moves. And when you tutor a youngster, he can get some of those preferred moves from the tutor. And this is a very interesting aspect of tutoring, because sometimes you really want those preferred moves, but sometimes you don't want them at all. As for example, let's say that your youngster is very bad at long shots. He has a long shot skill of 3. But your tutor has a preferred move that he likes to take long shots. And then it probably would be very bad for you if your youngster with that shitty long shot skill got the preferred move that he likes to take long shots, because that means he will be shooting a lot and he will be missing a lot. But it could also be the other way around. Let's say he has a great long shot skill. He has a long shot skill of 18. Then you really would like him to learn that preferred move, so he takes more long shots, because that means a lot of goal for you. So yeah, basically preferred modes is an interesting aspect of tutoring. So how do you find those good tutors then? Well, if we move up to my first squad, you want tutors who are higher in determination than your tutee, and you want them to have good personality. And if you just right click here for the general things, you can start adding things to this, like the columns you see. And I've already prepared it, so I'm just going to select my new one. And here I have determination and personality. And as we can see, yeah, like Lucas Leiva, he's a fantastic tutor. I mean, with a very high determination and a great personality, he is going to be a perfect tutor for most central midfielders. Because, I mean, they can't get much higher than determination, and professional, in my mind, is one of the best traits, or best personalities, I mean. When you choose a tutor, they have to be a certain age. I believe they have to be, I think it's over 24 years old, or over 23, so 24 and higher can become tutors. I think it's a difference if a player is the captain. So I think a younger player is the captain for the team, he can also tutor, but just focusing on the guys that's 24 or older. And at the same time, obviously, to be tutored, you need to be under 24. But also, they can't be have like a too high reputation in the squad. So like, I wouldn't be able to tutor continue, even though he's 23. He will never be tutored because he's a star. I probably could tutor Jordan I, because he's just like rotating on the bench, things like that. At least when this game starts. Same with Joe Gomez. So, like, looking at this, you know, Lucas Leiva is a very good tutor. Milner, really good one. Emre Can, decent one. Still too young, though. Benteke, decent one. Henderson, definitely a decent one. And to start tutoring, then, you just go to your U21 team. You select the player that you want to be tutored. And you go to development, and here you find tutoring. And under tutoring, the game suggests like most suitable tutors, and you can choose one of them. You can see the personality here, but you can't see the determination. So if I want Rossiter to be tutored by Lucas Leiva, I can just ask Lucas Leiva to tutor Rossiter. And when you do this, you get two options. First option is, as a senior member of the squad, I would like you to tutor Rossiter, as I feel you can help improve his game. And the second option is, as a senior member of the squad, I think it would be beneficial if you were to take Jordan Rossiter on your wing and mentor him off the pitch. So which one of those are you going to choose, and what's the difference? Well, the difference is the second alternative doesn't bring in players' preferred abilities. So if you use the second option, the youngster will not get any of Lucas Leiva's preferred abilities. Here are a few examples from my save on how tutoring can turn out. And this is just like, I started a new save with Liverpool. I started tutoring a few guys ASAP, and these are the results. So this is basically the start of developing youngsters. First we check out that we have the facilities, the trainers, and then we tutor them to get the abilities we want. And when a player has been tutored, and sometimes you need to tutor them more than once, and maybe by different people to get the determination up to the level you want, might need to do more tutoring to get the personality you want, and maybe something for a preferred move. Then it's usually time to loan them out. Because, I mean, some of them might be ready for your first squad already, but more common, especially if you get them really young, like 16 years old, they probably are not ready for your first squad team. And then you need to loan them out. And when you list players that they are available for loan out, or even offer them to clubs, there are a few things to think about. First off, are they going to be playing? Because when you get a loan offer, or like they offer to loan one of your players, it will say in the information like what role he will have in the team. And if they are going to use him like as a backup, I usually don't find any reason to loan them out to them. Because if my team have great training facilities, they have great coaches, and the team I'm trying to loan them out probably are in the lower leagues, they probably have a lot worse facilities and worse coaches, why would I loan them out to sit on the bench? Then I would definitely keep him, because I think it's better off playing my U21 team and getting good training facilities and good coaches. So first off, your first thing you're after is you want a player that... You want your player to be playing, basically. If he's not playing, say no. The second thing is the level he will be playing in. If you take a look at the coach report, it will say basically for what level will be good for your player. Like, is very well suited for Sky Bet's Championship or League 1 or League 2 and things like that. And you want him to be loaned out to a club that are at least at that level. I mean, if your player are suitable for Championship football, you don't want to loan him out to a League 1 club. Or if he's suitable for League 1 football, you don't want to loan him out to a League 2 club and so on. Because I believe that if the player is playing like in a lower, like playing in a league that's below his ability, that's not good for his development. So if the club is like in a lower league than what fits him, I usually say no. And then the last thing is to think about, it's what sort of training facilities do the club that you're loaning him out to have? And you can easily check that. Just go to the club's site and you can find facilities, and you will see what sort of training facilities you have. And if they are really shitty, then maybe you're going to take think about it again before you loan them out, at least if it's like one of your best most promising youngsters. But a good advice there is, if you like you list a player for loan out, you might get like 5 clubs at the same time want to loan the player. Then just go through that checklist. First off, of those 5 clubs, is any of them going to have him on the bench as a backup? Then you can decline those clubs. And then next you check, are the clubs who wants to loan him, the ones that are left, are they playing at a suitable league? Like, are they in a division that suits him? And if some of the clubs are like in the lower leagues compared to his ability, well, then you say no to them. And then maybe you have 2-3 clubs left, and then you check them out, and then you can pick the one of those 2-3 clubs who have the best facilities. And you can even check the coaches if you want to do it like very like at the extreme level. But I usually just go through and say yes to the 2 or 3 clubs with the best facilities and say no to the rest. And then the last step for a player to reach his full potential is to start bringing them in to your first squad. And usually if you see this as a journey through seasons, like if I get a new talented 16-year-old with a 5-star potential, the first season is the season of tutoring. I won't loan him out. I will just try to tutor him, get his determination up really high, try to get his personality the way I want it. And it probably could take a season, because you might need to tutor him more than once. It might take like 1.5 seasons, because you might even need to tutor him some the next season. Then the next step, when the player has the determination and the personality that I want, then I usually start to loan them out, because then the player is probably like 17, something like that, and maybe not ready for my first squad yet. But then I loan him out for a season or maybe 2, because when I know he's have the right determination, I know he's the right personality. Like now he needs to get first squad experience. So loan him out, trying to find clubs at the right level suiting for him, clubs that he will start every game. I think that will be good for his development. And then after 1 or 2 seasons, depending on how he develops, there's 2 options. If I see like, okay, this didn't turn out the way I wanted to. He was a 5-star player back in the days, but now it's down to maybe 3 stars. Then I probably sell him then. And the second option is, now he still looks great. He's still developing the way I wanted to. Now I start to rotate him in my first squad. He's probably like 18, maybe 19 years old. I start to rotate him for like 1 season. He's on the bench every game. Starts like easier cup games. Starts at home games against easier opponents. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win. And usually, like when it's on the bench, whenever I feel like I'm secure, like I'm winning the game, I can bring up one of my better players. I bring him to give him as much first team experience as possible. And then after that season, I'll take another look. Is he developing the way I want to? Or is he not? If he's not, still probably sell him. But if he's still developing the way I want to, I probably sell one of my first squad players to make room for him to become a regular starter in my first squad team. So let's say Roseted would have turned out to become a fantastic player, a 5-star player. It looks like he won't, but you could just imagine it with great determination and a fantastic personality. Then I'll probably sell one of my regular central midfielders, and for the season after that, like, he will be starting most of the games. And I'm going to give him 1 or 2 seasons to see if he reaches that last step and become like a 4-star or better player. And if he becomes, he will probably be a very important player in my team for many years to come. But if he sticks at 3.5 star, then probably going to sell him after a season or 2. And hopefully I have another youngster ready to take his place and see how he develops. But yeah, that's basically it. How to developing youngsters. First off, have the facilities, the training and youth facilities for it. Have coaches that's good enough. Secondly, find good tutors and tutor them. Make their determination really high, find the right personalities, maybe a preferred move or 2. Then loan them out, and loan them out to a club at the right level who uses them, who plays them, where they are starting players, and a club that have decent training facilities. Then start rotating them in the first squad, and last off, have them start in like every single game in the first squad. So good luck with developing youngster. I hope you learned something from this video. And if you have some great advices that have worked out for you in the past that I didn't tell her, make sure to share them in the comments, because I would love to learn from you, and I'm sure many other people. So if you have any great advices, let us know in the comment below. And if you join this little guide, make sure you press the subscribe button. It helps me out a lot. So thank you so much for watching.